up, everybody? Welcome back into the Play the Fight Song College Football Show. Week 11 preview is here. We're already in the double digits. It's getting November, but it's college football, right? We've got rivalry week coming. We've got the first playoff rankings already released. The best is yet to come within the sport, gentlemen. Joined alongside all of my week-to-week co-hosts. JP will be a part of the show once he figures out his Wi-Fi signal. He's battling with it right now. Starting the show off with a little bit of adversity. That's what we do here at PTFS. But joined alongside Jake, Reese. Fellas, let's have a good show tonight. How are we feeling? Jake, I know it's been a tough stretch in your fandom within the sport, but how are we feeling about week 11? Vibes are high.
Man, within the fandom of my sport, I'm a fan of college football. So another Saturday is upon us, another slate of games. I don't know what you're referring to. I'm pretty excited. I'm excited for another Saturday to watch some college football. It's November. Some people are saying it's hoop season. Those guys are absolute casuals because everybody knows hoop season doesn't even start until Thanksgiving during the Thanksgiving holiday tournaments. And that's coming from someone with a basketball background. So I'm telling you, you don't know shit. So yeah, you can tell in my voice. I'm ready to go. We got a good slate of games. We'll wait for Jordan to get here. I'm super bummed out he's not here to share his excitement about his fellow Hawkeyes. I was really looking forward to listening to that. So we'll get to that. Join us.
He'll be a part of the show tonight. Hopefully he can figure out the Wi-Fi in time for that. I know he'll want to break that one down. Reese, how you doing? You just went and spent the weekend in Ames with Jake at a football game. We're not going to talk about the outcome of. You can listen to the breakdown on the Iowa. There was, but Reese was at it. Talk about the experience, Reese. How was Ames outside of the game? Or did you have a good time with Jake?
We had a great time with the tailgate. We had got up nice and early, got a shower in. We went and got some coffee, a little run. Our boy Colin was there. Max was there. Met a couple kids I haven't seen in a while. So we had a good time, aside from the fact that Jeff Sims' jersey is now in the Hall of Fame for Arizona State football from that game, but that's neither here nor there. It is what it is. But it was still a good time. We got to go watch some football with some friends. I was in the desert how many months ago where I was just like, you know what, let's go watch football when I get back, and we got to watch some football. So I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. We'll maybe dive into those in the week 10 takeaways. Maybe we won't.
Witness
it's okay
history.
If we don't.
Yeah, just absolute Hall of Fame history.
Yeah, you sure did. But maybe we'll talk about that in the week 10 recaps. We'll get into that. 1-2 is in the chat tonight, already fired up about the Texas Tech retro cap I'm wearing. Has no input on the game, on the breakdown that we're going to give, the BYU Texas Tech breakdown, which we will talk about tonight. So don't come for me early. That's going to be an awesome matchup. GA is also in this chat. Shout out GA. Shout out to everybody listening. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop comments on the videos. Let us know your thoughts on week 11 in college football, your takeaways for maybe week 10, the playoff rankings, whatever's going on in your mind. This is the college football place to be. As JP pops up on the screen. JP, how are we doing? It looks like you're battling the elements.
JP's good.
I can see your face. I can see maybe even some pores. We got the 4K figured out.
There's a lot of rage going on right now in this household.
Hey, comes with the territory.
Just point it in the Oregon Ducks direction. You're fine, Jordan.
Oh, I don't get it.
All right, well, we get to talk about it. We're still doing intros, JP. So how are we feeling? Iowa comes in 20th in the college football playoff rankings. We'll get to break down their game tonight. But overall thoughts on the week, feeling headed into a big-time weekend in Iowa City.
Yeah, I'd say it's palpable. Is the word I've been seeing all over for the people in Iowa City. It's I feel like it's been a week that all roads lead to Saturday. It's kind of just where my focus has been and energy been, even though I'm not doing anything to prep or be a part of that game. I'm not in the locker room, but it does feel like there's just a little more on the line, and it's been a little while since we had that feeling in Iowa City. So pumped, amped for it.
We'll get around to that game. We'll break it down full panel. We'll break that game down tonight. You can also check out JP's in-depth look at Oregon and his game preview on our fan perspectives, streaming now for both Nebraska, Iowa State, and of course Iowa, which we just mentioned. So check those out, streaming live on our YouTube right now. Hit the subscribe button while you're there. Let's hit into both the kind of a combo play to start tonight's show. The Week 10 recaps, and we'll kind of combine it with a college football playoff rankings reaction. You can kind of go one way or another with whatever you're going to tell the show. How are we feeling? What did you think about Week 10? What did you think about the rankings? Jake, you first.
Yeah, I think that mine goes hand in hand pretty well, actually. So I'm glad you said that. I would say Week 10 was known as or remembered as the fall of the ACC, at least for this season.
Feels like it.
Clearly, I mean, there's 98% chance the ACC will get one bid in. That is known. But the big brands of the conference have really just absolutely botched it for everybody involved this year. Florida State and Clemson clearly haven't even been competitive. They might not even make a bowl game. And then
They play
Miami
this week. People forget about that.
Yeah, the Poop Bowl.
Did anybody know that?
Yeah, I did. We do now. We'll probably get to that.
The Poop Bowl. Okay.
Bowl.
We might have to make a graphic out of that. Thank you, Jake.
You come up with something better, you let me know. And then Miami losing this weekend to SMU really feel like it knocked out the ACC's shot at a 2-team bid for the playoff. Now, we'll see what happens. I'm not counting Miami out. I think the talent's still there. They can run the table. We'll see if that resume is good enough to get in. That's a conversation for a month from now. But just putting themselves in the back seat. And now you have this scenario with like a Virginia team who we'll probably touch on tonight, who cannot seem to play good football, but they're surviving. They're winning football games, but you wonder, can their luck continue? And then you have a Louisville team who might just carry the torch for the ACC the entire way. I would like to see Jeff Brom in a playoff game. That's fine by me, but I think we can put to rest any conversation about the ACC being, I'll say it, better than the Big 12 this year and being a 2-bid league. I think that narrative is done for.
I think it's definitely a fair breakdown. I thought the committee overall, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the Week 10 takeaway too, is you kind of saw the hype they tried to build for the rankings, the first rankings to drop, like them all walking into the room and putting their hat on the coat hanger, just a room full of boomers trying to talk about passing an eye test through the most parody-ridden college football season we've ever seen. So I didn't have high expectations for the rankings. I didn't hate them. I didn't think there was anything really that stuck out to me. No G5 team hurts a little bit, both for our brand and for the G5. I know they were not happy about that. But they've got a couple of big-time games this weekend that'll offer teams the chance to get in next week. But I didn't have any overridden reactions, I would say, in the college football playoff or Week 10 in general. I just thought it's another great week of college football and some games that came down to the wire in 2025, which is not at all off theme for the year. JP.
I don't think the rankings were all that stunning. I don't think there was anything there that was going to draw any criticism that's really heavy. Obviously, I think people did say that like they've kind of started their precedent of where they're putting Big 12 teams, just play your way in is kind of what they're telling the ACC, whoever wins your conference is in, that's how we're going to deal with you. It was more so how they look at 2 and 3 loss teams in the Big 10 and SEC that I was worried about. I feel like they did fine. Obviously, like the jump Texas takes and Oklahoma takes by, winning in Knoxville and then Texas beating Vanderbilt was a big jump. I don't think we had Texas ranked in the PTFS rankings for Week 9. And now they're 11, 12 right in there. So I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those things where you're going to have to deal with just how they look at the conference in general and what they do for the Big 10 versus what they do for the SEC. Okay. And it feels like it's still going to stay that way, power ranking wise.
Yeah, Navy and Notre Dame. The comment comes in from 1-2. We're all rooting for Navy this weekend. It's been a tough spot. They're a pretty heavy underdog, but we were definitely not rooting for Navy last week on this show. If it's your first time watching 1-2, we're a North Texas podcast. I'll put it that way. That's the nice way to put it. But appreciate the comment. Keep dropping them in. Give us your thoughts. Week 10 college football playoff rankings as we discuss this. Reese, your thoughts or takeaway from Week 10?
I mean, Big 12 also had kind of a tough day. My dog went out back and got shot when you go on the road to BYU, and Cincinnati didn't bark at all. And then, Houston dropped a stunner to West Virginia as well, too. So, not saying we all thought Houston was going to be something that special this year, but, I mean, they still have 7 wins this far, and they're still doing pretty well. And, you go drop that game, and, I mean, who knows? They could have been something in the Big 12 at the end of the year. But, yeah, the Cincinnati game that's a major blow if the Big 12 wanted to, especially with the ACC being as down as it is, like Schaefer's talked about. If the Big 12 want to try to get a second one in there, it's looking harder and harder for them to try to do that.
A nice win for Rich Rod in West Virginia, though, Jake. You want to talk about Poop Bowls? There might be Poop Bowl Junior going this week with Colorado and West Virginia.
No kidding. I was glad to see Houston kind of get exposed a little bit. I've been on the train of I think they were fraudulent. But I think actually I'd push back a little and say that the way Utah played actually resulted better for the Big 12 at this point. If we'll get to the Texas Tech BYU game here in a minute, but say BYU loses a close one this weekend, Tech runs the table. Utah runs the table the rest of the way. Like there's an argument for, I think, 3 really good football teams between Utah, BYU, and Tech, who I actually like. I'm not even Big 12 bias here. I think those 3 teams are really good and can compete in a playoff scenario wherever they would land if they get the shot.
All right. That's it for our Week 10 takeaways and the recap of the college football playoff ranking. It's only week 1 of that. I feel like the college football playoff, I guess my final note would be it's almost like a gift on Christmas morning, but you also have access to your mom's Amazon list where you can see her orders. So you kind of have an idea of where it's going to go, but there's always that glinting choice. If you did, the comment comes in from 1-2. If you watched Houston versus Oregon State, you were not surprised at the result.
I'm with you 100% there, 1-2.
Yeah, I think there was always, I feel like JP, Reese, correct me if I'm wrong, we all kind of had that little ticker in the back of our mind that's like, all right, we don't think Houston's there.
Special,
right?
No.
JP?
Everybody's got a bad game though. So like that's kind of where I was at with the Oregon State games. Like we just didn't show up a certain week. So some teams just don't show up certain weeks and they go in and play. Yeah, but it was in a weird sandwich spot as well.
10:30 at night, on a Friday night. It was
a weird spot, yeah.
All right. We'll give Houston their flowers maybe later in the show, maybe when it comes to the betting segment, which we will go to at the end. That's both our underdog in the week and best bets. But first, we have to go into the Week 11 previews. These previews are presented by our great partner over at No Rivals, shopnorivals.com. Use the code PTFS at checkout for free shipping on the best hats in collegiate sports. Reese is rocking the Texas State Bobcat Espresso collection. I got the throwback Texas Tech with a little breathability on the back. Check them out today, shopnorivals.com, and use the code PTFS at checkout for free shipping on your order. The best hats in college sports, designs dropping by the day, so make sure you're checking early and often. Shout out No Rivals. All right, let's go into Week 11. Let's first lead it off with the college game day trip headed to Lubbock for BYU and Texas Tech. Fellas, the top 10 matchup within the Big 12. All the marbles on the line. It feels like people are still kind of wondering on BYU. Texas Tech, we know the talent. Morton comes back, plays well. They get a nice win on the road last week against Kansas State. Can they get one at home in the national spotlight as a 10-point favorite against a gritty BYU program? Jake, break it down for us.
Can I first off by prefacing that first of all, I didn't know the Big 12 can play ABC. I think this is the first ABC Big 12 matchup we've gotten all year. I don't know if they bought the rights to it because it's a top 10 matchup or whatever.
I don't give a shit what channel it's on, as long as I have it on YouTube TV.
Yeah, well, you can't. Yeah. So you're gonna have to find something else here.
No, get Saturday. It back. They got meetings tomorrow.
I will say this too: if you're moving it to ABC, really, we need Bama and LSU at 6:30. This one we don't want Lubbock at night. Whatever. That's a different tangent for another day.
Great
but it needed its justice. It needed to be said. The game itself, this Texas Tech team it's an entirely different contender when Baron Morton is playing and Baron Morton is healthy. I know that's pretty obvious, but he makes the run game easier for Dickey and crew for that Texas Tech offense. And the wide receivers, it's a good group. With Coy Eakin, Virgil, Douglas, it's a really good group. And when Morton can get them the ball, it shows how talented they are. The BYU side of things, I'm glad LJ Martin is back and healthy because they're going to need that run game to survive on the road in Lubbock. It's going to be a battle of the line of scrimmages really on both sides. I think this is for BYU. It's an ultimate test of their bend, don't break style. Satuala, the safety in the back end, they're going to get tested with a healthy Morton. I think that's going to be really tested against a good Texas Tech wide receiver core. And let's see if Jack Kelly in the front seven can put enough pressure on Morton. Get him, we're not encouraging injuries around here, but get after Morton early, like Utah did, quite frankly. Get after him, be aggressive. This is a super aggressive BYU team. And on the other side, we'll see if BYU can hold up and block against this Texas Tech defensive line, which I'm glad at least the national narrative. I've heard a couple of smart people I like to listen to. They say this is the best defensive line in college football. And I'm not sure that you can make much of an argument that it isn't. So it's a really good test against this BYU offensive line. I said it before, BYU losing close is ultimately a win for the Big 12. I think BYU winning this is still a big win for the Big 12. I don't really have a push either way for either team. I just want to watch a good football game against two really good football teams. The only problem I see for BYU in how they had success against Utah is that Utah obviously came out, pushed the ball down the field a little bit. And what basically bit them was a couple of bad turnovers and them being super aggressive on fourth down. I think they wanted to set the tone early in Provo, get a couple of fourth down conversions, and kind of take LaVell Edwards Stadium out of the picture. And that just didn't happen. I don't see Texas Tech's offense being super aggressive. I see them giving the ball back to BYU in opportunist times and just daring them to drive down the field and put drives together. I think BYU can do it. But if I'm BYU, I'm not going to bank on Texas Tech being super aggressive on fourth down. I think Texas Tech is going to dare you to drive the length of the field and win the football game.
And an incredibly simple – go ahead, JP, if you got a clap back to it.
I was just going to push back on – I don't know if BYU winning is technically good for the Big 12 and their playoff chances, because then you're looking at a Texas Tech team with 2 Big 12 losses, a Utah team with Big 2.
I'm not – at this point, I'm just
losses.
not concerned about a 2-team bid. I would like to see an undefeated Big 12 team. And if BYU runs the table, tell me why that wouldn't be a good enough resume to be a fit 5 seed, maybe a top 4 seed. I don't know. I would love to see LaVell Edwards Stadium host a playoff game.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for just one really good one, I was thinking you wanted 2.
Let's talk about both the teams. That was one of my main points on this breakdown is this game matters a whole hell of a lot for Texas Tech, because if you get a win here, you are going 11-1. Texas Tech to finish the year at home against UCF, a team that's struggling immensely over the last couple of weeks, and then on the road at West Virginia in a game you should handle. And then on the flip side, BYU, you still got to go on the road to Nippert and play Cincinnati, who's a damn good football team.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a little bit more out there for BYU after this. Texas Tech, this is it. You put all your chips in the table because you're going to take care of business with the roster you have over the next couple of weeks. However, I think that Jake kind of nailed it, where in this most simplified version of this game, whoever wins the trenches is going to find themselves in a very good spot to win. I think if you look at BYU, the things they've done well in games where maybe people are like, all right, finally, this is the time we're going to see BYU drop a game. They force turnovers, and they've been game-changing turnovers. Pick sixes. You saw it in Iowa State. You saw it in multiple games from BYU when they beat Utah. They had a massive turnover late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
They have to do that on the road in this situation. I think Morton's got a little bit more experience. I think maybe Jake's right. They do limit him a little bit. They try and slow the game down, keep BYU away from creating those big plays because that's what they do well. And Texas Tech, I just think talent-wise, granted, the hat's probably telling you one thing. There's too much here. I think BYU drops their first one. It's going to be a hell of an atmosphere in Lubbock, by the way. Reese.
Yeah, the line is what it is. I think it's because of the Texas Tech defense. I mean, they're only giving up 275 a game, and they're also giving up 74 yards on the ground, which is first in the nation as well. And then we know BYU and how well they run the football. And LJ Martin's back this week too. And then, Bachmeier kind of is a nice successor with him too as a true freshman. He's got 9 touchdowns on the ground. So, what is Texas Tech going to be like? Because the big thing too is they're +8 on the turnover margin. Like, they get after the football and they take away the football. But on the other side, BYU is +10 as well too. So both of these defenses force turnovers. So I think both sides we're going to see them. It's just who's going to have ones that are less important and critical, like in your fourth quarters or to end the half to give the other team a chance to get a field goal or a touchdown late or something like that. Like, that's going to be the big thing. Having a healthy Morton, yes, is huge. But I think if you're BYU, you got to go on the road this one. You make it slow. You take it away out of Morton's hands. You let Martin run the ball, but if you can't run the football, let Bachmeier do what he can do. See what you can do with the football. But again, it's the turnover margins I think is the astounding thing about this, because if you're getting +10 and +8, that means offensively you're not turning the ball over a hell of a lot either too. So defensively, see what they can do, but it's also Texas Tech has 63 explosive plays of 20+ yards this year, 43 of them through the air. So even if BYU is able to go in there and kind of put up some points, or Texas Tech is up early, I think Texas Tech can take the top off if they need to and score some points. So it's kind of where I see that line being a little bit bigger because of that Texas Tech defense. So,
JP, any more expansion on you? I know you used the clapback against Jake on his point, but any further expansion on the game for this?
Yeah, I mean, 7 straight for BYU to get an interception. Morton's been really good this year when he's been in. Only 4 on the year. I think if you're BYU's offense, like, understanding that, yeah, you have a tall task with a really good defense in front of you. But what has BYU done really well, and I feel like they've gotten really good with their gadget players. So like a Kingston, for example, has been put in other situations, moved around the field, gotten the ball in different situations. maybe that's where their creativity and where the edge comes from. Like run game, but not just classic run game, the expansion of that and everything working off of it. So just pay attention to what BYU does gadget-wise with some real speedsters on the outside.
And a good comment came in from 1-2 while we were breaking this one down. They do get a big wide receiver piece back this week at JoJo Phillips. That's another weapon. It's an added weapon because you're going to need all of them against this Texas Tech defense. They've been pretty consistently dominant. That one loss, people, it's against an Arizona State team with Sam Leavitt. That was, you can see how different that team is without and how impactful Sam Leavitt is. So I think Texas Tech, when we're talking about the roster and the money going through that roster, sometimes this is the style of game where it almost gives me an Ohio State, Indiana feeling last year, where like this is going to be a dogfight. And then the $30 million roster plays like the $30 million roster and they take care of business because it's kind of eerily of a similar situation. If you're like, is BYU for real?
Does it feel anything like Cincinnati going to Utah last weekend?
A little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does. And that game, I believe, Reese, that was an underdog of the week, but we shoot it, take it out back and shoot that one. It does. I like that comparison. All right, let's go to picks in this game. 10 points in favor of the Red Raiders. Can BYU go on the road, cover the number, get it done? Where do you see it in your mind, Jake? You're up.
Yeah, when I previewed BYU for the Iowa State game, ironically, it was the last time we saw this football team. I said, you got to cut the head off the snake. Like, you can't let this BYU team hang around. And my team did a really good job of blasting themselves in the foot with just inopportune turnovers. And that's exactly how you keep BYU in the game. Unfortunately, I don't see Texas Tech really being that football team. And if they turn it over, like Texas Tech's just got substantially better defense than Iowa State does. Like, you trust the Texas Tech defense to just hold BYU if for some reason the offense gives them the football in a bad spot. Lucky for you, BYU fans, I'm horrible at picks this year. I'm horrible on the board, so lucky you, but I don't see BYU really getting a ton of chances to take advantage of this in Lubbock. I'd say Texas Tech wins merely by 11. I'll just take Texas Tech to cover the number here.
JP.
I've gone back and forth. If you're going to beat me, just beat me with the team. I can't figure out how to keep doing it, right? I'll take BYU plus the points. I think Texas Tech wins, and it's a really good thing for the Big 12, in my opinion. But it stays tight. It stays weird. Just there's a team that just keeps doing it. I'm not really sure how they keep doing it. They stay in games. They stay close. That's what BYU does.
They do. It's a great fan base, by the way. BYU fans, they're all over, man. And they're excited, as they should be. This is a big-time matchup where they could really put themselves more consistently in the college football fans' mind. Reese, your pick on this matchup.
Yeah, I took 2 double-digit dogs on the road last week. None of them were even close. Not doing it again this week. Give me Tech.
All right, Texas Tech. So I'm going to go 2-2 here. I like BYU to cover the number in this spot. I think I've bet against them too many times within a game like this, and that's just to cover the number. Not to say they win, but I think those picks, and I like the stat 1-2 dropped in the comments. He's all over this BYU stuff. Has 1 interception in 20 of the last 21 games. They're going to need a couple of them to get it done, but I think they can get 1 to keep it close enough. So give me BYU plus the 10, but I think Texas Tech gets it done at home. Too big of a spot for Lubbock and too much talent on that $30 million roster. All right, that's the Big 12 game. Let's keep it moving. Let's go over to the Big 10. Let's talk Oregon headed to Kinnick Stadium against Iowa. This is the 2:30 CBS game with the primetime crew. Oregon's a 6.5-point favorite against the 20th ranked college football playoff Hawkeyes. JP's dropped his full thoughts, full breakdown on the Oregon game on his fan perspective, streaming live on our YouTube right now. Check it out. Give it a like. Make sure you hit the subscribe button while you're on the channel anyway. But let's break this down. How we feeling if we're not a fan? And then we'll go to the fans' perspective. Jake, why don't you go first for us? Do the honors as an Iowa State guy.
Oh, boy.
I'd love to hear this.
And Big Ten guy. And Big Ten guy.
Big Ten Jake.
Yeah, Big Ten Jake. So, I'm just going to nail this pick. I've been perfect on all my Big Ten picks. I'm not like 10 games below or against the spread board at all this year. So I've been absolutely perfect nailing this conference. I mean, it's just like something's going to break. Is this a breaking point for Oregon as maybe – I couldn't figure out a better word to describe it, but is maybe Oregon a little more fraudulent than we kind of thought they were early in September? This is going to be a make or break point on if this team is a legit national title contender. I still think it's a good playoff team, but we're going to figure out if this team's actually going to be able to raise the crystal ball at the end of the year or not. And for Iowa, I know they don't do the crystal ball anymore, Jordan. Thank you, though. For Iowa, the only question I really have in my mind is they've been playing good football. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I wonder the offenses that they've played, has it been very competent? And I know Indiana went to Kinnick Stadium and Iowa put up a hell of a fight and showed that their defense can push them to the brink in Kinnick Stadium anyways. But Oregon's been really good at stopping the run this year, even against teams like Indiana, like Penn State. You saw Katron Allen have a little bit of success against that Iowa defense. So that might be the barometer you want to measure here. I think the defensive line is the strength for this Oregon team. I like Bear Alexander and crew, especially in the interior defensive line. For me, I'm going to be honest, I don't really have a side here. It's clear that Oregon can go into big environments and win. They won the whiteout at Penn State. I think for Iowa, it's imperative to create big plays early, your turnovers, your special teams plays. Frankly, a touchdown in the first quarter feels imperative for this one. Going back to even some of Iowa's games recently, Iowa hasn't scored in the first quarter. I should say a touchdown. I think one of those three things is going to keep Kinnick Stadium absolutely jacked up and engaged right away. If you're a team like Oregon, what'd they do, fellas? They went into Happy Valley and they got up, 20 points or something. They really took the crowd out of it for the majority of the game. Penn State makes a bit of a comeback. Don't get down early. And we know that. Obviously, that's pretty obvious. Iowa's not a team to play down 20 points, kind of like that Penn State team was. It's going to be a slugfest, though. Like, the weather's a real thing. It's going to be rain. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cruddy. I know in the Northwest, they're used to some of that stuff, but both teams rank top 5 in first downs allowed. Defensively, it's going to be a battle of just making the most of turnovers and just putting a couple of drives together. I really don't like Oregon hasn't seen a team like Iowa either, though, where I think Gronowski adds a different element offensively that I don't think Oregon has really been tested with yet either. So there is an edge for Iowa in some of this spot. So I know I kind of just threw a lot of it up in the air, but somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Is there an edge here for Iowa for them that I'm missing? I don't know. Maybe that's why we throw it to the fan perspective to really take that answer from me.
JP, you want to chime in now or you want to go to Reese first?
Special teams, in yardage, Oregon traditionally has not. It's fine. They're fine at it. They're not elite at it. Iowa's had their issues to this point this year, but you win that, you're already playing Iowa football. Like, you lose the yardage battle. I would also say there is an edge in Iowa's run game. Oregon's defensive front is really good, but Iowa's shown the ability to run the football on anybody. And if we're going to tout or be shown that this offensive line is one of the best 2 or 3 in the country, it needs to show up in this situation. So I'd say it's a perceived edge, I'd say.
Yeah, I think the national viewpoint on Oregon's kind of taken a turn after the college football playoff rankings came out, and then all the discussion started going around their schedule and who they've played. And granted, it's been significantly less than the rest of the top 10 within the college football playoff ranking. But even a comment came in from 1-2 of Oregon's signature win being Northwestern. I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. I think at the time, hindsight's 2020. We can all look back at the whiteout game and say, well, Penn State sucks. They should have won that game. At that time, Penn State did not suck. Right. They were not bad. They still had their starting quarterback. They still had their head coach. Like, this program was not in the fire shamble that it was now. And you could probably, even to this day, if you took Penn State in that situation with the same exact team, put Drew Aller back in there, put James Franklin back on the sideline, there's probably only a handful of 5 to maybe 10 teams that you would pick to go in and beat Penn State in the whiteout game. And would Iowa be one of those? No. So I wouldn't, and that's not a shot at Iowa, but that's still a damn good win for Oregon. And it's going to help them getting into Kinnick. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere this weekend. I think when you're Oregon, your plan's pretty simple, right? It's laid out for you, especially within the rain. Load the box, make Gronowski throw the ball. He hasn't been consistently doing it all year. 4 touchdowns, 4 picks on the season. Granted, that's kind of the offensive identity of Iowa's taken once they realized what they could do with his legs. So I think the recipe's out for Oregon. I think them playing in a tough game already helps. I just think there's an athlete play here that's not being accounted for, especially when it comes to the wide receiver position. Who has more weapons, Gronowski or Dante Moore. I think there's a pretty clear answer there if you've watched college football, but it's still going to be a dogfight. Like Indiana, when they went in, their struggle, they couldn't convert a third down. They were 3 for 14 on third down. It's going to be probably pretty similar numbers. I think if Iowa wins this football game, it'll be a 13-10, a 10-7, something like that. It'll have to be a Phil Parker masterclass, which we've seen over and over again in these big time spots. So don't write off Iowa. 6.5 feels like, oh, it's a touchdown game, right? The top 10 team against the 20th ranked team. It feels like a lot compared to
I don't
what
think
Iowa
anybody's
can do
writing them off.
defensively.
I mean, they are, the CFP rankings trump everybody at this point. They're ranked 20 in the poll.
There's
so-
more
It's
people
20th.
questioning why they're ranked 20th than there are people saying that Oregon's not
Sure.
going to win this football game.
Sure.
I would say that outside of our Midwest bubble for sure. Reese.
Yeah, I think JP kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, what strikes me is if I was going to be in this game, I think first quarter you can't give up. I don't think you can even give up a field goal or a touchdown, because I think when you look at that Iowa Minnesota game, like that game turned into what it was because of that defense and that special teams. Like it was over just like that. And if Iowa is going to make this football game, special teams or defense, I think has got to do something big in the first quarter, because JB talks about like, yeah, Iowa's run game is maybe the edge in this game, but the issue is like that can be good. But if Oregon is able to get up early, if Oregon gets up, 10 or 8 or whatever it is, actually no, make that 10 double digits, and then Iowa has to start throwing the football. Like you talk about Park, I think that's where the issue is, where they just don't have the guys like Gronowski. They're going to rely on his legs, but if they guys start throwing the football, that's where I see issues. Because then you also talk about too, like, yeah, I think Oregon just has more weapons on the outside. But yes, the secondary and defense at Iowa is fantastic. Like Phil Parker, he's going to have a game plan. He's going to have stuff figured out. And then, it is Dante Moore. So like he's still a young quarterback. And that going into Penn State, I think that game was 3-3 at halftime. And then all of a sudden it just kind of erupted into what it was. So like I don't see them, getting onto a huge lead. If they do, I still think the kid can make some mistakes because he is young. But at the same time, if you're Iowa, you got to keep this thing within a touch on the whole game. You got to make it ugly. You talk about it's going to be like 13-10, 14-10, 17-7, because we know this Oregon offense, like they're averaging 41 a game and they're averaging 430 yards a game. And then Iowa's only giving up 12 game and 240 yards per game. So like, does one completely take over, or do they meet somewhere in the middle? And if you meet somewhere in the middle, the issue is Iowa, I think, is going to have to go score 20 plus points against this Oregon defense, which has been solid too. So I think if that in lies, is it going to be one side's going to be completely dominant, or is it going to be somewhere in the middle to kind of see what we can do with this one?
JP, thoughts, feedback on what you heard from the panel?
Nope. Just, it's the same stigma that's been, the Iowa football in the 2020s. It's what it's been, right? It's just what you're going to get until proven otherwise. And this is your opportunity to prove otherwise.
So is there a thought in your mind that they could come out and throw the football well, or do you think that'll even be in the game plan?
I think they've thrown the ball fine. Like we haven't had to. We've dog walked teams like for weeks now. So, and it's one of those things where like, yes, there are hiccups. They're not going to beat you vertically with skill positions, but they have done every piece of that they want. Like it's been fine. This isn't a team to compare their passing offense to another team who is consistently really good at getting vertical isn't fair in what the scheme is what I'm saying, I guess.
I guess my biggest standout here is the over-under 40.5. Everything in my mind screams under. The weather, like the way these teams are going to have to play, the way they will both have to play to win. I think if you're Iowa, it's a really good team at forcing turnovers, especially in big games. They've done it for years over years under Phil Parker. That's when Oregon got in trouble, boys. Like when Oregon lost that game to Indiana, Dante Moore with 2 picks. They put a couple balls on the ground, didn't lose them. You can get yourself in a real tough spot in Iowa City if you do that this weekend. So let's go to picks in this one. Oregon 6.5 as a road favorite against the Hawks. Where do you see it? Give us your pick. We'll go to JP at the end for a score prediction because it's already out there. Reese, you first.
This is where top 10 teams go to die in November, JP. I will give you that. But I think in this spot, I'm going to take Oregon in this spot. I also think it's Dan Lanning. You're number 9 in the college football playoff ranking. This is bulletin board material. I'm trying to go out and prove something, so I'll take the Ducks.
Okay, Jake.
It's funny how college football works. We do it with our rankings every single week. Like we get very consumed in recency bias, and we just really haven't seen this Oregon team in a few weeks. Like they had Rutgers where they just killed them. Nobody had eyes on it. That Wisconsin game was weird.
Monsoon. Wisconsin game was a monsoon.
Yeah.
Ugly.
And last time we really saw this team was Indiana. And like now we just put this narrative in our head, maybe that Oregon isn't as good as we thought they were. I think this is just a game where Oregon's a good reminder of they are still this top 10 team. They are exactly who we kind of thought they were at the end of September. I think they kind of get that mojo back. I think Sadiq, the tight end, gets rolling again. Maybe you see Decory and Moore get going, but I think TJ Hall's been really good. I'll give Iowa that one. So maybe the matchup there leads Iowa. If you're Dan Lanning here for me, please do not run Dante Moore out of the back of the end zone for my cover. Like, can you please not do that? Because I got Oregon here by 7 or 7 to 10 points. I think Oregon finds a way to. It's not going to be a blowout, but I do think Oregon controls the game, and I will take the Ducks to cover.
Yeah, I don't see a blowout, obviously, and neither does Vegas, but I don't see a blowout for either team in any scenario I can play out in my head. But hey, it's college football in 2025. Anything can happen. I don't know. I hate the spread. I hate the 6.5. Yeah. It makes me feel terrible because I do think Oregon wins the game, but I think it's like a 21-17. And it's a case where it could be 21-7. And Iowa makes that push, but just can't get over the hump because they can't throw it vertically. And that's just where I see it. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I think there's going to be a couple of massive plays from one or either side that's going to be the difference maker. But I like Oregon to win the game. But I guess I would take Iowa to cover the number. So Iowa plus 6.5, Oregon to win the game. JP, share with the crew for the general show your score prediction. Who covers?
Yeah, I had 21-13 or 21-18, sorry, at Oregon winning this one. For me, it came down to just one more play, right? I don't really think it's that big. I don't know. I'm not that worried about Iowa's ability to run the football. Like, I don't think this is the run game of the past where you can sit and load the box and feel, oh, we got 8-9 in the box. We're fine. Yeah, you put your corners on island. That does not bother me in the slightest. Like, they've changed and evolved in that form. For me, it's just going to be one more drive and extra first down to get into field goal. It's just one more drive with Dante Moore's legs to get out of the pocket. Has he been elite? And am I as worried of him hitting the throws that Mendoza was hitting against Iowa defense? No, not really. No, not a lot of guys. That's why they're called NFL throws. That's what he was doing. So I just got him one more bit, but the problem is what's going to suck is if Iowa loses one by 3, it's still the national narrative that this is just it's not a very good football team, which is just baloney, but it's another story.
I feel like, God, I just try and think back, and it's so hard because Jake just talked about the recency bias. On the flip side, the non-recency bias, like you don't want to pull the Rutgers game, and you're talking about Iowa's defense because they're playing at a completely different level right now. But like Rutgers throwing for 330 yards against this Iowa defense, like trips a small red flag in the very back of my mind. But it also shouldn't because of what they've done. But how different is the talent on the outside? It's going to be a dogfight, gentlemen. What an absolute beauty.
Rutgers has 2 dudes.
This one's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We'll see if maybe we'll need a JP reaction video live right after. I like those. Those get me a little bit of juice going. A little Saturday.
Not after the minimal confidence this show has given me in you guys' ability to be my friend in this situation. No,
JP, you know how I won't say a word.
JP, you just go live solo. No, it would just be us 3.
I just want the car video. I want the car. Put it on your steering wheel. Click record. Let it rip.
Jersey Jerry in the car.
Yeah, but don't poop your pants. But all right, that's Iowa and Oregon. What a matchup that's going to be within the Big Ten. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Appreciate the comments coming in from Chase and 1-2 throughout that preview. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the like button while you're here. Let's keep it moving. Let's go down to the last game, the last preview of the Week 11 show that we have tabbed, that will have up graphics. We're going to go across the board and across the country and open the floor. But the last game we have, let's head to Texas A&M and Missouri. Columbia, gentlemen. We'll see the atmosphere they can create. Obviously, the quarterback injury changes the conversation. On the Mizzou part, Marcel Reed playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Definitely should be within the Heisman conversation with what A&M's done. And what a job by Mike Elko and what he's done at this program, and really hasn't been talked about much in college football as compared to the big-time names like Alabama, Georgia. Like Texas A&M's undefeated, gents. Let's break this one down from the top. Reese, why don't you go first?
Yeah, what's Missouri going to try to do to be productive in this game? You're down, you're obviously your starter. You got to go to Zollers here. you got to be productive running the football. We know how good Hardy is. Like on first and second downs, you got to be able to get plus plays, because if you're putting this kid in third and long all day against this A&M defense, you're going to have an issue, because they got a guy by the name of Cassius Howell who's on the edge. He's got 9.5 sacks already, going up against his inexperienced quarterbacks. Like, that could be an issue. And then, it's a Mike Elko coach team. Like, they are sound. They're undefeated for a reason. They're not going to miss their assignments. They're not going to get a bunch of penalties. They're going to go on the road. They're going to take care of business. Like, if you're Missouri, you just got to kind of have a little Army mentality of, we got to run the football well, and we got to keep it out of Marcel Reed's hands, because that backfield over there in Moss and Owens has been solid. And not to mention, you got Concepcion and you got Craver, who's been an absolute get, and God, is he fast. So, like, A&M, if Missouri does get up and they are playing well, A&M can kind of take the top off too and make some guys miss if they catch a ball in space. So it's just the issue of Missouri's got to play sound defense. We saw them only give up, 27 to Alabama. You gave up 17 to a Vanderbilt team who put up 30 on a good LSU defense. So, like, we've seen this defense be solid, and like up front, they are one of probably the top half of the SEC, I would argue. And then so it's just, that recipe is in there. If you got to force turnovers, it's a home game. This could be, kind of a win that solidifies what this team was, even without Prabula in there. And Drinkowitz, if that guy starts getting looked at for other spots in the SEC or wherever what ends up happening. But it's just a spot where Missouri has to play sound. You can't give Missouri, or you can give A&M the balls 2 or 3 times. You got to play sound football, and you can't give up third and longs all day too. If you get a third and long, you got to get the stop, and you got to get your offense football back.
Jake.
Yeah, it's clear that Missouri has a better run game than LSU did, and that they're going to show. But I am concerned the amount of pressure that they'll put on. Is it Zollers or Zollers?
I know it's Zollers. I could be wrong.
It's spelled that. It's spelled that way.
I had Zollers, but if we say it both ways, you're wrong.
Big Z.
Yep.
Tell us about Big Z.
Motto.
Big Z's new here, fellas. So we're trying to learn the kid's name. I'm just a little concerned of the pressure they'll put on him. Like what I saw, Reese, you highlighted it well. Like, I can't get it out of my mind of all the pressure that A&M put on Nussmeier, and just absolutely shunned, silenced Baton Rouge at night because of the amount of pressure that defensive line was ready for in Texas A&M. And again, I know that the run game is better than LSU, but Ahmad Hardy he's struggled in his SEC play. That's evident. He hasn't rushed for over 100 yards in the last 3 weeks. It's been tough to get him going. I think the offensive line for Missouri is better, but now you have a freshman quarterback starting for the very first time against a top 5 team. It's going to be really, really tough. And Texas A&M's main focus is going to be to shut down Ahmad Hardy. And maybe we respect Zollers next week, and he comes out and he throws some good balls and keeps him in the game. I liked what I saw a little bit of him in Vandy in that spot, just being thrown right into the wolves. So we'll see what happens here. Is the edge to Missouri? Like, you're at home. I haven't checked the weather in this one, but I got to imagine it's kind of similar to this game. Similar to Iowa City. Like, lines at 6.5. This feels very similar to the Oregon-Iowa matchup that we literally just talked about. But you got no film really on the freshman. Is that the sliver of hope that Missouri needs? I just think you wonder where the motivation factor is for Texas A&M. And I hate saying that, because obviously ranked team on the road, you want to go out and prove it, but A&M can afford to lose this one, guys, and just beat Samford, beat South Carolina.
Do that.
Tell that to the guys in the locker room.
Yeah.
Every game matters.
Don't do that.
No,
don't start the whole narrative thing. We're fine. We can lose one. Don't do it, Jake, because
you think Elko's going in there and saying that?
No, I don't. But you hear the talk all week about how great you are. I understand
this sounds like the speech you gave after you lost to the fan base in the radio show. Well, fellas, we can lose, afford to lose one, but you can't lose another one now.
Well, the conversation will be, if they do lose this game, it's like, we're fine. We're fine. So
that's in this conversation.
I know what the locker room is selling each other, but a lot of outside noise there. I think that one thing Missouri's got going for them, they're still one of the best defenses in college football. They still have a couple of the best edges in college football. They got to get after Marcel Reed, make it difficult for them, and that's how you stay in this football game. It's actually uncanny when I looked at, took some notes on both of these games. Like, the game plan for Missouri is exactly what Iowa has to do to be successful in both of their games. Like the blueprint is right there. Control the run game, do not turn the football over, and let your defense take care of the rest. And we'll see if Missouri can do that.
Yeah,
JP?
one thing to add with that, like this is the best offensive line Missouri's seen to this point. And so it is something to just outline that it's not just show up and continue to lead on the defense. You now have to stop a run game that's been really good. You have to look at Marcel Reed and what he's found in two really good underrated receivers, I'd say, on the outside there. The difference is, and I think you guys touched on it, like Missouri kind of stopped running the ball really well until that game at Vanderbilt a couple of weeks ago. I think Hardy got close to 100 in that one, 20 for 97, I think is what I saw I had written down.
Mm-hmm.
Can you find a way, if the run game isn't humming to that level, to get the ball to Johnson, to Coleman, and really feel confident about it? Because I don't think I'm going to go with Zollers, by the way. Zollers is like incapable of it. I think he just wasn't ready for the situation. It was a weird situation, a freak accident, with the injury, and you put in a tough spot in a high-level game on the road. It's that simple. Now he comes home, he's a little more comfortable, sleeps in his own bed, goes through his own routine, got a week of practice under his belt. They know what his confidence level is.
I like that. I think that's a big point of preparation people aren't putting enough emphasis to, is them getting a bye week during that quarterback change is huge. To change the timing of your offense, getting him fit within your scheme, game planning around a new quarterback is different. But I think one thing, if you're Missouri, that they've done extremely well, which has kept them in those close games as often as they've been, is running quarterbacks. They've limited really well. Jackson Arnold, 14 carries, 17 yards. Diego Pavia, 8 carries for 20 yards. Well, here's another tough test in Marcel Reed and what he can do and extend plays with his legs. If you take that element out of his game, we've seen Marcel Reed in a bad form. Granted, it was last year. He's been pretty splendid in the entire season, but he will force balls into not needed situations and create turnovers. I think I like Missouri because of the defense here. I think they can win a close game against a very talented and well-coached football team, and they just take away enough of what A&M does well on the defensive side of the ball to get it done. On the flip side, though, Missouri's offense got to be better on third down. They've been dreadful in their 2 losses, 1 for 11 in their first loss against Alabama, and then even in their loss against Vanderbilt 2 weeks ago, 5 for 18. So they've got to be better on third down. Getting this one at home is huge. I like the Tigers in a close battle. I think they're just too much defensively, and a great spot. This really feels like an A&M spot to lose, but Mike Elko, hell of a coach. I'm trying to give flowers both ways, but I like the Tigers off the rip. Reese, going to picks, 6.5 in favor of A&M on the road, a top 5 team, the 3rd ranked Aggies. You like them to cover the number, or you like the Tigers at home?
Yes, I like them to cover the number. I think they're going to have too much on the outside going if they can get the run game going. So I think they'll go in that spot and they'll do just fine. Give me the Aggies.
All right, Texas A&M off the board first. I kind of gave away my pick, so I like Missouri to win the football game. So that's obviously to cover the number. I think there's too much in Columbia. It's going to be a pretty good atmosphere too. A little underrated game.
Money line.
Jake.
Yeah, I just talked about how similar this game is to the Iowa game. 2 top 25 matchups we just broke down. I took the road team in one spot. I can't take the road team in both spots, and I could be wrong on both of them. My record speaks for itself, but I will take the freshman quarterback. I will take Columbia in this one. Give me Missouri to keep it close at least.
JP, while you're right after you give your pick, I need you to pull that number up. What's the active ATS Jake record? Because I feel like he's selling it short of really.
No, I'm like 10
He's
games.
brought it up 7 times.
I'm 10 games. I am 10 games below 500. I went 2-8 last week.
Okay, but you're like 41-51 is not the way you're pitching it. You're pitching it like you're 20-70.
Sure. I mean, it feels like I'm 20-70 at this, like week after week. It's like
vibes are low for his pick.
1 week.
Don't ask us about our dogs.
Oh,
nope, we will. We'll get to that. Don't you worry. We'll recap that incredibly briefly in week 11. JP, you got a pick in this game while you pull that up?
I'm just gonna be confident college football is gonna keep doing college football things this year. I'll take Missouri plus the points.
I'm
possibly outright. I don't know. Flip a coin on the game. I'll take Missouri plus the points though. Like that's just the way the season's gone. It's hard to go 12-0. Don't care what conference you're in. It's tough. It's tough.
Defaulting to the parody of the sport just feels like a perfect analyzation for any college football game this year. So not dumb or crazy to say at all. So, all right, 2 on A&M, 2 on
47
Mizzou.
and 55 and 2.
47, 55 and 2. I mean, come on. It's not even 10 games. It's not great. But
It's
you're
almost
telling
100
me like
games.
you're the worst better
It says
of
100
all
games.
time.
It's way over 100 games.
Yeah, come on now. All right. That's it for week 11 previews on the board. Let's go roundtable style, open floor. If you've got a game you want to talk about, we need to mention, got some strong thoughts on one. Now's your time. Anybody got one off the rip? Jake, you look like you got one.
Yeah, since we're not going to do this won't be our G5 game of the week. I think Friday night, it's a massive one. Tulane at Memphis.
Huge game. College football primetime, by the way, they named that, which I love.
This one's tough. Like, line's 3.5, and I don't see it with Tulane after, again, recency bias. I can't get that game out of my head a week ago with them against UTSA.
That's fair, Jake.
The way that they move the ball, and Luke McCown's not a mobile quarterback, UTSA's quarterback, and he just diced him up the entire time. Now you throw I would say a better quarterback in Brendan Lewis out there, who has an ability to use his legs better than McCown can. It just seems like a whole sort of problems. And then on the outside stuff, not talking about guys or stats or anything, guys, Summerall is the number one option for a lot of these SEC jobs. And you just wonder where the team is at. And I also like silver lining. I see this, though, as like, if I'm a Tulane player, I know he's probably out of here. This has got to be a good audition for at least getting on his SEC roster, though. So you see like this Tulane team still being up for it. The quarterback situation, too, like they went to Sullivan late in the game last week. Where's Jake Retzloff? I don't really know. Going to be a fun one. It's going to be an awesome Friday one. But, man, I see Memphis kind of – I see Memphis just giving it to Tulane in this game. That's the way I'm leaning.
I feel the same way. I think Memphis is – they're so on the verge of still playing for something. It feels like Tulane shot themselves in the foot enough to not, really take them out of the conversation.
Even their wins have been ugly. Like they can't and they have so much talent, and they just haven't been that convincing team I've taken this year.
JP, open floor. You got a game?
Rutgers, Maryland.
The Big Ten.
Like, do you
Big
believe
Ten
that
marquee matchup of the week there?
Yeah, like, do you believe that either one of these teams are as bad as they've gotten beat the last couple of weeks, or it's kind of what you think of it. So I'm intrigued to see where this goes. Neither one of them has been stout defensively. Both of them have shown the ability to score points. I just want to see how this plays out at home for Rutgers. I think this is a big one for them, just culturally, if you really want to see this moving forward.
What do you say, though? Fired coaches the week after you fire your coach? You feel good about a team? You like the Terps in that?
Oh, no. Are we getting sentled here? Like Loxley didn't get fired, right? I know I got bamboozled. No, I got bamboozled on that Sunday.
Did I get bamboozled?
You did.
Loxley
got fired. Loxley, he got sentled.
We got to get this fake news off my platform,
He got
Elon.
sentled.
There's no way they're firing him with Malik Washington.
I saw it on Sunday, and I was like, it was a good graphic, and it looked like a believable tweet. And I was like, okay. But I saw the guy, and I was like, I don't know if that's a real thing. So I waited for other people to tweet about it, and yeah, it never came out. And then one of the well-known podcasts I listened to is like, yeah, that didn't happen. But I don't blame you. I thought the same thing on Sunday.
I thought all week I'm sitting here like, damn, that sucks. Like, I like what he did there. So I'm glad. I would have rehired him. Rehired. He got fired, rehired.
Yeah, I don't see why they would, because you fire Loxley, you say goodbye to Malik Washington. That's kind of the way I see it.
He's
like you've got to hold on to him. And like what
could be
Maryland...
a lot of points in Poughkeepsie this weekend. Hey, Reese, that's an inside joke. We'll play the fight song joke, Piscataway. We all know that, but a lot of points in Poughkeepsie this weekend. All right, Reese, you got a game? Go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
Shaver?
I was just going to say, going off of that, LSU at Alabama. We haven't seen LSU play yet since the Brian Kelly firing. Alex Atkins takes over it.
You telling me there's an actual run game waiting to come out of the woodwork? Because I'm starting not to even believe you.
Mac and Cube were talking about it this week. Apparently, the deal was that LSU doesn't go inside run during practice. So for maybe those who have no idea, like basically it's a scrimmage in between the tackles, just doing run plays. And for a team not to ever practice that, it just tells a lot about the LSU run game and what you've seen this year. Maybe they've been doing that the last couple of weeks. Maybe they come out and run the ball better. It's a spot where kind of like Georgia, Florida last week, new play caller, team, like Georgia, Alabama in this situation's got everything to play for. LSU has nothing to play for at this point. I still think that team's talented. Again, I'll say it, Parks, 7-2 against the spread, fired coaches. I think I need to update that stat, but it's
we'll come back to that one.
Okay.
All right, little preview for later. All right, Reese, you got a game quickly before we go to the G5 game of the week?
No, I was going that Alabama LSU game.
Can I throw one more? Can I throw one more?
Go ahead.
Do whatever you want, dude. It's our show. Do whatever you want.
Between Vandy and Auburn, Vandy versus Auburn, Georgia at Mississippi State. I think one of the two higher ranked teams will get upset this weekend between those two games. Again, I don't know which one. So I think Vandy or Georgia will lose the football game this weekend.
Giving yourself
that's bad news for the country there, because one of those teams goes down. We're just going to hear how they should have 9 teams in the playoff.
That's true. Paul Feinbaum's already fighting for that. So
but they should.
The deepest.
100%. The most fair analysis I've heard on the show tonight. All right, let's go into the G5 game of the week preview. Can I get a drum roll for this announcement? The G5 game of the week is, of course, San Diego State and Hawaii. What a dogfight this should be. San Diego State, people, if you've been sleeping, which a majority of you have, San Diego State is a 7-1 football team, and they are a 7-point favorite traveling to the island this weekend. This one screams college football sicko, and it should, because it's going to be the best.
Awesome.
This is the best. Jake, preview it for us.
Reese, what's the saying? Unstoppable object versus immovable force.
Yep.
That's what I've got here with the Hawaii offense, Timmy Chang's offense against Sean Lewis's stout defense. And that might be underselling it a little bit.
Sean Lewis's defense being good. Say that one 5 years ago.
This San Diego State defense has the ability to basically put you in the stranglehold and go to sleep early. Since their Washington State loss, I added the totals. They have given up just 20 first half points in the last 6 games combined.
Must be
now
nice.
They went to DeKalb. They only gave up 3 points in that first half, won 6-3. Can the offense score enough early to get Hawaii out of this game? You're going to have to get Lucky Sutton, the running back, involved. He's been an absolute workhorse. I think he had almost 200 yards a week ago. On the flip side, my favorite player in college football, Mike Alejado, he was banged up in the beginning of the year. I think he got hurt in the first game against Stanford, tried to give it a go against Arizona. It was ugly. They went to the backup for the next couple of games after that. He jumps back in the Fresno game. Didn't look great. But after that, he finally got healthy, got his groove going. He's been really, really good these last few weeks. 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The matchup between him and that Sean Lewis defense, it's one of the best matchups in college football this weekend. It is absolutely fascinating, and I can't wait to watch it. This is the Mountain West's last cry for a playoff chance in that G5 spot. And I don't know if San Diego State's resume will be good enough, even if they run the table. But San Diego State shocked me. I had them going under their win total at, 4.5? Boy, we'll do probably bad takes at the end of the year. That certainly will be. It'll be on my list, but credit where credit is due. This San Diego State defense it's probably one of the best in the G5, if not college football.
Thought I was about to get some credit there. I broke down San Diego State to start the season. I really liked what Sean Lewis was doing. I thought they had an extreme upside, and it's playing out the way it should. But in this game in particular, we use the saying quite often in these G5 previews, something's got to give. And the passing offense versus the passing defense of San Diego State. How about the 6th ranked passing offense in college football in Hawaii, which nobody knows, against one of the best passing defenses in college football, which I believe ranks 8th. Something's got to give here. Either Hawaii, you're going to be able to do what you want to do and what you have done well all year long, which is what you've gotten to your 6th win in bowl eligibility at the beginning of November, which has not been the norm for Hawaii. So very glad to see them back as we expected. I think Sean Lewis, I bought into him as the more I read into this team in the preseason, and it's playing out the exact way I thought. I don't know if Hawaii scores this weekend. I think they score 7 points. They could score 7 or less points this weekend against what this San Diego State team has done. And Sean Lewis is still as good as and as hyped up as we talked about their offense. I'm sorry, their defense. Their offense is still good. it's still Sean Lewis ran offense, and they've been consistent, and we put their quarterback on the cover of the episode for a good reason. So I like San Diego State headed to the Island. Tough one, always tough going to the Island. 10 p.m. Central kick, but defense wins games, and this is that spot for me. Reese.
Yeah, Owen Chambliss has been pretty solid for this San Diego State defense as well. He's got 70 tackles already on the year. Trey White's been a stud on the edge too. He's got 6 sacks. And then you talk about the secondary for San Diego State too. They already got 10 interceptions on the year as well too. So I think that's part we talk about as well. If Alajado's going to throw the ball a lot, the San Diego State defense, they know their jobs. They know what they're covering. They might get a ball or two they can take and go the other way. So yeah, if you're Alejado, you got to play sound. You got to play clean football. Because you get this one at home, which is a huge advantage too. But I mean, it's still a West Coast team. They're not traveling that much of a time zone difference. But I think if you're Hawaii, you got to put up points. Because I just think San Diego State, their offense, you mentioned, isn't outstanding. But this Hawaii defense is just not that great. So they can still go in and get 28 plus. And if Hawaii's got to win this game, they just can't afford to turn the ball over multiple times.
All right, JP, thoughts on this matchup before we go to pick? Sorry, I almost missed you.
I feel like we are discounting what Hawaii has been able to do on the island. Only one loss on the island. That was the Fresno State. It's a Fresno State team that
tough place to play.
Strength is running the football.
It's not what happened.
It was EJ Warner. Yeah. So you kind of put yourself in a spot where you're looking, oh, it's only 7. They looked really good all week. Hawaii's had a good year. This has been a better Hawaii team than before. I understand the Mountain West.
Well, eligible.
But Timmy Chang consistently has brought this team up. I think there's a little edge here, right? And I think that this is going to stay tight, maybe high scoring. I know the defense has been really good.
Wow.
But little island magic sitting around there to stay around. And honestly, with it, if saying all that, I am going to take San Diego State to cover, but I just don't think it's as clean and cut and obvious as it.
That's not island magic.
You don't know what's going to happen. I've been wrong too. But for me, I'm just saying, it feels like we're discounting anything that they have any hope in this one. I don't see it that way. They can. There is a real shot that they are just one of the better passing offenses that San Diego State's run into, and they can get them a couple times. And now you're like, oh, hey, maybe we play catch up for a little bit. It's a long, drawn out way for the Aztecs to get back on top and, eventually cover if that's what you're picking. It's just one of those that you circle and you go, when Hawaii's humming, when Hawaii's, part of the top end of the Mountain West, these are games they stun and win people.
I will say,
stun people and win games. Sorry.
Week over week, San Diego State has made me look a little smarter than I actually am. But this is what I call a win-win morale victory for me. Or just, I guess, just my general happiness, just an emotional victory, because I'm either going to keep looking smart or Hawaii's going to win a good football game, which is great for the sport. So this is a great game for college football in general. Reese, your pick first. San Diego State -7 on the island against the Rainbow Warriors. What do you got?
I'll take the road team and the points here.
All right, 7 in favor of San Diego State. Now, I think it's 7.5 live right now, so people are agreeing with you. I see 7.5 live right now on ESPN. Jake,
I have 7 on the book that I use for the board. Undisclosed one that hasn't paid us.
No free ads. Sponsor us. If you're a book, reach out to us. We'll exclusively use your ads. Go ahead, Jake.
The Mountain West has been nothing short of an absolute crapshoot this year.
No, you're the Mountain West guy. You love the Mountain West. You love Mountain West football.
How good the Mountain West is. People know that about me. I think Hawaii comes out, goes fast, puts San Diego State in a weird situation. San Diego State's not a team you want to play from behind. Eckhouse and that Washington State offense had a lot of success against Hawaii against San Diego State. And I know that was a long time ago, but I like the Rainbow Warriors to maybe even get a win, pull off the upset at home. One thing I don't want to see though, I don't want to see Hawaii win too many more football games. For this case in point, I don't want them to get too far above the Hawaii Bowl bid. As someone, Hawaii Bowl, my absolute favorite bowl game of the year, my favorite Christmas Eve memory.
They're getting the Hawaii Bowl bid. That's got to be -850. Hawaii.
Unless they're playing in a high level bowl game or they're in a playoff, they usually get
Watch them
the
go
get that
10-2 and run a table.
I just feel like no,
they're still playing in Hawaii Bowl.
They go 8-4. That okay, that's fine then. Then I hope Hawaii wins out. That's all I hope for. I just
Let
don't
them
want to
travel.
win too many and get them out. I think Hawaii home game on Christmas Eve would just be the best game of the year in college football. But I got Hawaii in this one.
JP, your pick.
Lamb.
All right.
Yeah, San Diego
State. All right. 2 on San Diego State, 1 on Hawaii. I will go with San Diego State. I think it's going to be a tight game for a while. I think the difference is going to be an Alojado trying to force one late, trying to make the play, right? He's still a freshman. Those mistakes come. And what this defense has done all year for San Diego State has been capitalizing off those mistakes. I think that's going to be the difference maker. I can see like a 24-10, but it could have been 17-10 with Hawaii having the bowl. It's going to be a fun game. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
but I like
I was just going to say, if you guys have a little time and want to have a little fun, if Hawaii was to win this, go look at the Mountain West standings and what the hell's going on there.
That's why
there's a lot
gonna
going
win
on.
this
It's
football game.
wide open.
There's a lot of G5 craziness going on. I think
Watch.
it's a 6-way tie at the top of the American right now. Something like that within the conference. Is that far off from what I'm saying, or was that last week? No,
Just
that's
trying
right.
to think. You're
That's what I
probably
thought.
pretty close. Yeah.
I think it's a 6-way tie at the top of the American. So G5, as beautiful as we all expect it to. But that is your G5 preview of the week. Make sure you check out both of these teams available on shopnorivals.com. Use the code PTFS at checkout for
The
free
Hawaii
shipping
hats are
on
sweet.
your order. If you're a Hawaii fan, I know you can get them in the bookstore, but shop online. They got more options. Use code PTFS at checkout for free shipping. I've been to that campus, been to that bookstore. It's beautiful. Bookstore kind of sucks. So use shopnorivals.com and use the code
Nice
PTFS.
flex.
Shout out No Rivals. All right. Let's go to the picks of the weekend. Let's talk best bets. Let's text Dog's Dog. The recap of the Dog's Dog last week. We all went to Michael Vick's school. They did not pan out. Unfortunately, none of them hit. Look, it's clean slate. We're going to go 4-0 this week. Dog's Dog.
Old-
We're
I
gonna
prefer
lead off
old
with
yellow.
that.
I want to say
You don't-
I got beat with a pick six with less than a minute left when he could have just taken a knee.
Dead.
And won the
Did
game
it hit?
for
Did it hit?
It's
Did
great.
they grenade
97
your horseshoes,
I
Jordan?
bet you that was
97
on.
point differential
The
between all
sports
four
book
of the
said,
dogs.
gimme.
Yeah.
They didn't
I bet
give
you it
any
was
credit.
on Bad Beats. I bet you
It was on Bad Beats. I already watched it.
Yeah. Thanks.
So was
Thanks,
Vandy in
SVP.
Texas.
Get on
All
your
right.
horse, 67.
We did not win a bet last week in the Dog's Dog. This week, we flip the table and we go 4-0. Let's go with dogs across the board, standing still, stand at the same point. Jake, you're up.
Oh, geez. I had my best bet.
Jake gets to go
Come
first so
back.
he doesn't complain this week.
Whoa.
He
whoa.
does.
Oh, no.
Say,
Sorry.
we're
I
going
got it.
last gets to go first. All right.
I got it. Nope. I got it.
Gotta give him some
I
room.
forgot about this one. Fellas, we just touched on the Mountain West and the American and how
Don't
great
do
those
Colorado State again.
races are. There's another one in Conference USA that's getting
Okay.
a little dicey. And when you got a matchup here, I believe they're both 3-1 over at Liberty. Let's go to the state of Virginia. But I'm going to take the road team with the 7 and the hook. I have been absolutely beaten to death this year by the hook. And will be damned if I don't get it rolling my way this week. Give me Coach Clark. Give me Missouri State plus 7.5 against the Liberty team, who's actually they're rolling now. Ethan Vasco's figuring it out. They're running.
That was
the
my
football really
Dog's
well.
Dog last week. I would not advise that pick. But
Yeah,
continue on.
well, Delaware
But we
couldn't run
love
the
it this week.
Delaware couldn't run the football, and I think they turned it over a bunch.
Parody.
That's why I like Missouri State in the spot. Like Liberty's kind of getting their groove back, but the parity in college football this year, I like the Bears to just go out there and lose by 7 points.
All right. I can deal with that. I am next in the standings. So my pick, fellas, I'm going to stay within the fan perspectives. Give me the Cyclones plus the 6.5. And this is a culture bet.
Actually, we'll give you 7
no.
here. We'll give you 7.
Give me
I
this
saw
is a
7.
culture bet. They got
It is
run
a
all
cul-
over
it
by
is
a
a culture
quarterback
game.
last
I
week.
agree.
This is a culture game. This is a game where Matt Campbell comes out of the darkness, the abyss that he has built over these Iowa State
This is
fans
a
over the
culture
last
game
4
over the
weeks.
last week.
And they win the damn game. Last week was a monsoon, JP. Weather didn't favor it. This week,
that
that
was
was
a
Texas.
monsoon.
Figured that one out.
Plus 6.5. The Clones on the
I would-
road against TCU.
You're
No, I
getting
think it's-
7 Parks.
I think it's
Oh,
a
thank
good
you.
point to where JP, you're like, why is it last week the culture game? Because clearly everyone expected you to win that football game and you didn't. So now you're even lower than what you thought was the lowest point of the season. And now I mean, Parks, good for you. I don't know. You probably didn't listen to my fan perspective. I have us losing by
so gross.
I listened
I
to
have
it.
us
I don't care.
losing by 20. I think the matchup's terrible for Iowa State, but also at the same time, like it is a culture game.
Parity.
Like, this would be the Iowa State way to go out there and win this one. But I hope you're right. I hope you are right.
Culture game. Give me the clones. Give me Matt Campbell. He's gonna be coaching somewhere else next year, but I'm just kidding. We're not starting that. JP, you're up.
You guys know what week it is?
Week
I
11.
kind of lost track.
Week 11 preview.
Yeah, it's team up in the Northeast has a special weekend coming up, wearing some special uniforms. And wouldn't it be hilarious, Chip Patterson special, if SMU clipped Miami last week, and then Boston
JP.
College getting 10.5.
Oh, red bandana
the
week?
Eagles.
Hey,
yes,
Red bandana game. That's where I was going.
Did you see Bill O'Brien? They're not down. They're not down.
He's fine.
They're ready to go.
No problem here.
You might say it, Mark, that you're always down on this team. But guess what? Inside the locker room, Bill O'Brien and the boys, they're not down. All right, what's up, Trevor? Or Reese, what's up?
Yeah, Reese.
No, JP, exact. I was red bandana game. Who gives a shit about record? That's exactly where I was going. Great pick, JP.
You got another one?
Yeah, say Reese, you got one.
Yeah,
you're up,
no,
Reese.
I got one. I got one. Don't worry. We're gonna go with the home team. They're playing a good team, but this team has been playing well this year so far. Much surprise, they're one away from bowl eligibility. I'll take Mississippi State plus the 9.5.
I love it. I love it. Bad memory. I like 9.5. I can get 7-point wins on the table there. 7-point loss.
Yes.
Hold up.
What's the problem here?
Jake.
JP, who's Boston College play this week?
SMU.
Oh, SMU. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you said you had them over Miami.
He's trying to get people.
Time back in.
No,
he's trying to overshine your pick.
I thought you said.
Keep going. Ignore
my
him.
bad. I was just double checking. My fault. I'm sorry.
No, that's all I got. Mississippi State plus 9.5.
I like that. Plus 9.5. I had him plus a 7 against Texas. Man, I had that bet. I had it. I called it. Massive upset. Did not pan out. But 9.5 feels great. Feels great. When they lose in overtime, you're going to be in a great spot. Great pick. All right, so that's the dog for the week. 4-0 week on deck for that one. Let's on to the best bet. The best bet from last week. Gentlemen, we did okay. 2-1-1 over the week 10 segment. Reese stands at 4-6 on the year. Did not hit on Cincinnati plus 10 on the road at Utah. Myself, we barely covered the number, but covered it with Louisville at Va Tech. They won by 11. JP, Minnesota minus the 3 against Michigan State. 1 in overtime. They should make them kick the PAT. That's all I'm saying. Then that bet wins. But they win in overtime on a Drake Lindsay corner run. And then Jake with an easy win. Arizona minus the 4.5 at Colorado. They could have covered that one about 30 times with what that team did to the Buffs last week.
True.
And so it was easy money. No sweat on that. Let's go to this week's best bet. Let's go to the winners first. Jake, I'll allow you to go first once again. I think I let you go first last week too.
No, because he was complaining last week.
I appreciate that. You could go back to the well and take West Virginia this week, but I'll leave that. I'll leave that up to somebody.
You could.
Let me ask the group: do Thursday plays they count?
They count,
yes.
Absolutely. It's a Wednesday show.
Okay.
I got to get the graphic up immediately. I mean, it'll be either be a win or loss on the graphic, but go ahead.
Just double checking. Then I'm going to lay I have 12.5, but I'll lay the 13.5. I'm giving it out tonight. Give me South Florida over UTSA at home.
That about made dog for me.
UTSA is 5-0 at home, fellas. And Traylor has them going in the dome, playing well. Guess what? They are not playing in the dome this week. And this team has an ability to just respond one week and just get crushed the next week. This is a South Florida team that's coming off a Memphis loss from a couple of weeks ago. They're eager to get back, scoring a bunch of points, trying to fight for that G5 playoff still. I see this one just 28, 30 points. You name it. I think they just kill them.
I fairly agree with that. I think USF's got an ability to score like none other team in the country that is probably going under the radar from the loss that they've taken, but it's a damn good football team and they can score some points. JP, your best bet.
I hate to do this, but I've fallen for this for the last couple of years, but I think I'm going to go the other end here. Lay them with Notre Dame against Navy.
Yeah. Love it.
There's a difference here between the Navy teams of past and this one. Now the defense isn't as good, didn't matter because they weren't scoring and they weren't stopping Notre Dame in years prior. 80 of the service academies. So letting with Notre Dame, I think I have 26.5. So just shy of 4 touchdowns. It's a lot, but Notre Dame could stop the run. Specifically the option, I should say.
All right, Reese, give us another winner.
I'm going to go with the team that is scoring a lot of points week in and week out. Take their team overs, whatever you got. But I'm going to go. We all thought it was going to be a big game at the beginning of the year. How about Indiana minus the 14.5 on the road at Penn State?
I got to confirm. I'm pretty sure Indiana's undefeated against the spread this year. I have to go.
I might be right. They're
back
just
in double
destroying teams.
Yeah.
No.
They were like 7.5.
Oh, against Iowa.
Against
Iowa. Yeah. That's literally.
That was you took them that week. You should know that. You took them. That was your best bet, I believe.
All right. There's one. Is that the only one?
That must be. I believe that's
probably
the
a
one
big
because they would have been
there
an
might be a
underdog
big
against
number
Oregon.
out there. Yeah.
I don't know. They've covered those big numbers. They have been drubbing teams. It's been
this is a medium one. Penn State sucks.
Yeah, that's we've
Good
definitely
football
learned
team.
that from the comments. 0-5 in the Big Ten this year, and a little bit lost to say the least.
Parks,
All
have
right.
you given yours yet?
I have not.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Then I'll say something.
I got a fun one after that too.
This pause is, if you're listening on podcast, it's on purpose. Nebraska +3. I want 3 because it was there on Tuesday, and I want 3. Nebraska +3.
I think it's like I saw like 1.5. It's coming down.
It is because UCLA gives up 200 yards a game on the ground. Nebraska's true freshman quarterback from Compton, by the way, can run. He turns home to his home state, and Emmett Johnson, the only back in the country, over 1,000 yards, goes off. Nebraska wins the football game outright.
Cam Cook's above 1,000 yards, but keep going.
All right, in Power 4 football, sure. You want to give Jackson State their flowers?
Don't dismiss Jackson State.
Shout out Chicken Fried, or whatever his name is.
Fried
AKC Fried Chicken.
Where you at, bud?
Shout out to him.
Ass kicking chicken.
But give me Nebraska on the road to cover the number. I like it +3 and win the game outright. I love the bet. I love the matchup for Nebraska. All right, Jake, you got more bets?
I was just gonna say Indiana's 6-3 against the spread. Penn State is a whopping 1-7 against the spread. My question was just gonna be, outside of South Florida, UTSA, it's the highest total of the weekend. What is the second highest total of the weekend? The highest total of the weekend for over/under on Saturday. Any guesses? No cheating.
North Texas on a bye, so
you won't get this, but I'll give you 2. I'll give you 2 seconds as we're doing good podcasting here. It is.
Don't know.
It's an absolute off the radar game. Try JP. You got it, or are you waiting?
Dude,
no.
Did you look, or you actually
looked like he was looking?
Duke.
There's some screen cheating.
Duke, UConn.
It's not Duke.
Good job, JP.
It's not.
Duke.
It's not because I'm looking at 67.5 San Jose State Air Force.
Oh,
nice try, loser. Great stat, Jake. Way to build that up.
Jake just went and saw some random number.
Mike Loxley getting fired. Who's the highest second overall total? This show is in shambles through 11 weeks.
65.5. The San Jose State one's not that surprising though, but it is kind of crazy. A 67.5 over/under versus a service academy. Just college football in 2025 is just a weird thing. Sorry, go ahead, Reese.
Tell me the honorable mention.
Honorable mention, Syracuse goes on the road to Miami this week. Just a heads up. Take the Canes minus 28.5.
All right, we're all over our own teams. We're all over them. We're bought in. It's week 11. We previewed the full week 11 slate for the games that we thought mattered. So check them out. We're going to clip them out. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video in particular. Follow the channel. We're going to have college football content going down your throat all year long. We appreciate you being here. Check out our fan perspectives. Stream them on podcasts. Stream them on Apple Podcasts. Stream them on Spotify. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Shop FrostBuddy, frostbuddy.com/PTFS. Scan the QR code if you're watching, about to leave the channel. Go and buy yourself a FrostBuddy. Keep your drinks cold. Appreciate you. Love you. We'll see you next week. Jake, take it away.
Play it.